Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of y'all, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I know the title's a bit confusing, but stop and think about this for a second. There's a skit where, and the title of the skit is "When You Find Out You're Not the Father." And I know it's just a skit, but what's funny about it is that when she gets mad at the supposed dad on the birthday of the kid and says, "See, that's why you ain't the real daddy," and she's just looking at the camera, blinking her eyes, waiting on him to react from the shock. That attitude right there that sisters bring is enough. And Karen has it too, but she tends to wait a little while before she pulls that attitude out. Now, Karen's more likely to show that attitude to her man early on. It's the irony of it. Each Western woman is most likely to break that attitude out with the men of their own racial community first and foremost. So Asians living in the West, Asian women living in the West are going to show that attitude to Asian men coming up in the West before they would show it to a white or black man. Karen is likely to break that attitude out with her own man first. And we already know Boom Chica is going to break that attitude out with her own man. And it takes a while before any of them start breaking this attitude out on a man of another race or racial community. In my case, my ambiguity led to me catching it. It led to me catching it from different corners, but in different forms. That's another talk for another day. But it's one of the ways I know it happens. I want you gentlemen to understand, though, that attitude and that hatred is why there are going to be more social media posts with these confessions. They're going to confess to things that they've done that really seem designed to do nothing more than just irritate you as a guy. And this is going to be because of two things. Number one, there is that hatred. Number two, they want to go viral. So we're looking at a situation in which women have two motives that are unchecked by other motives going against this. Their motives are to really cut you deep, to cut us deep. They're going to start, and they've already started really, I'm sure, confessing to things that they did not actually do. Like the social media post in which a lady said that she lied to her man to get him to give her money for rent and food, and she turned around and used that money to go buy a nice dress to get a date with a rich dude, and then they smashed. And she didn't feel the least bit bad about it, and should she? Well, what's messed up about that is that she probably didn't do that. She probably said something like this because she has a disdain for normal guys to the extent that she wouldn't mind saying something like this. Now, could she do it? Probably so. But these types of posts come at exactly the same time when we men are wising up, when we have and when we don't have a lot of money. And we're saying we're no longer doing this. We don't trust these women because we know they'll do scandalous stuff. Now they're bragging about it. Because we're more on guard, you see them bragging. This means that they're falsely confessing against themselves. And don't get it twisted. To be honest with you, gentlemen, some of them are falsely confessing against themselves for points, social points, because they're now at a stage where they lose points for not having stories like this to tell. Oh yeah, they have to have something like this to say. They're going to have to answer for why they don't have a story like this to tell. Because now they're just like 30 years ago, a teenage boy was in a bad situation if he didn't have stories like this that he could tell and brag to his boys. These adult women now are in a similar scenario. If they don't have stories like this, they're in a socially speaking, very nasty situation because, frankly, the women are looking at them like, girl, men are easy to get, at least in that particular way. Why can't you get one? So it used to be, when it really was that easy, it was not a flex. Now, because it's a little bit difficult and because of the hatred they have, it's a flex. So they're going to start telling these false stories and making these false confessions. I wouldn't say without doing, I would say before they do them, before they actually make them real. And they're going to be doing this because, like I said, that's their social standing. And we're talking about women in their 20s and 30s on some high school stuff. This is also evidence, though, of the depth of their hatred for you. So I want you to never, for 1 second, underestimate their hatred. Got it, gentlemen? They're not capable of a respect or even a lack of hatred for normal guys if they get enough attention from normal guys. So you start off invisible when you're normal. You want their contempt? Wait until enough normal guys have made approaches to them. Now normal guys got their attention, but not the kind that we would prefer. They can't do that. So then the attention is hatred. Andrew Tate probably did something similar. Owner of a stolen gun. That's not his real name. That's his YouTube name. Sent a link to me in which, yeah, Tate, in telling his stories and trash talking, then says, yeah, I was, I'm up here flushing the phone down the toilet and destroying evidence. And the lawyer who posted the video rightly says, these are confessions. And so Tate may be in trouble. And I don't think Tate actually would be stupid enough to do something like human trafficking, but from trash talking, he may have set himself up. That's what these women are doing. I don't know how often it is. I don't know what the stats are. But there was a time when people began to realize that young boys were oftentimes lying about their experiences because the lack of experience was just too much of a badge of shame and dishonor for a young teenage boy to confess to back in the days. Well, now we've reached the flip side of that. Now we're looking at a situation in which for the women to have not done something really low down and scandalous in the hair salons is too big a badge of shame. That's some hatred. I hope it never bothers you. Thanks for listening. Black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual non-select male power just because they don't like it, on black patriarchy till extinction of judgment day. And thanks for flying Jet Black Airways, where jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with me till the wings and the wheels fall off. Justice forever.